Today I'm going to show you how to build a flowchart in Word. Word is actually probably the easiest way for you to do it at this point. If you have access to Visio or any of the other flowchart software, please feel free to use that. Also note that anything that I'm doing here you can also do in PowerPoint. So if you later want to try your hand at building a flowchart in PowerPoint, you can do that as well. So you have your blank document in front of you. If you go to the Insert tab, what you'll see here are shapes. Open that box. And in here, you can choose these different options, but specifically pay attention to the flowchart options. For the purposes of this assignment, just use the rectangles, and then you can draw the size that you want. Here, you have the option to do things like choose different colors for your boxes. Just make sure that it's easy to read. Now, if you were really building a professional flowchart, we would have to get into the intricacies of each of these different shapes mean something on the flowchart. One's a decision point, one's a start, one's a stop. But again, because I just want you to try to build a flowchart on your own, just use the rectangles is perfectly fine. Now you're going to want 5 levels to your flowchart to represent the 5 different levels of your process explanation. So the easiest thing to really do here is once you've built your one rectangle, just copy and paste it. So you have 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then you want to move them so that they are in order and they're lined up like that. But that's not enough. So now we have to connect them. Going back to our insert shapes, you want to choose the arrows and just simply draw a small arrow between each of them. And once that's up, you can continue using that box. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because we need to connect this box to this box. So using one of the elbow connector, you can do this. Just like that. So now you've set up your 5 boxes and your arrows to show the natural evolution from one level of your process to the next. So now you have to also go in and you have to put in your text. The easiest thing that I happen to do, if you find a better way for you, that's perfectly fine. I go to Insert and back on, I don't want to be in format. Here we go, a text box. Just a simple text box is fine. You can move it. And some of you may decide to put your text box right underneath it. Make sure you scale it and move it so it's not taking up your actual boxes. And go in here. And just like I did in the example that I showed you in class, here, I'm just going to move it so that now it's right there in the middle. You can also put it here if you want to. The easiest thing again to do, I think, is to simply copy and paste. Because now you've already sized your box the way you want it. Brainstorming, researching. Preparing. See, what happens is this is a visual representation to anyone that you're talking to or showing something to, that they can go back and look at and say, okay, from here we then move to here. From here we then, the next step is here. And a flowchart will actually come in handy a little later on in life for you, especially if you're going to do any type of project management work. You're going to rely on these a lot. Of course, you're always welcome to go in and play with the designs. Again, just make sure everything is in some way, shape, or form visible so I can read it. All you have to do is something as simple as this. I want to see you try your hand at making a flowchart as part of your process explanation. That visual representation. Again, you can do this in PowerPoint or you can go into Word and do it, but you want to rely on that Insert tab. Once you're done, you can do one of two things. You can simply copy and paste this and put this on a second page of your memo, or you can have it as a second document. Just make sure that you put your name and all on it so that I can distinguish which flowchart belongs to whom. And of course, there's always a good idea to take it and maybe move everything a little down, give yourself a title, so that I know what this is. Amy's example. See how if you're not careful, everything will be all messed up. So you probably want to do that first. Flowcharts are really simple to make, guys. And I think that Once you get the hang of it, you'll be perfectly happy with what you end up producing for your process explanation. If you have any questions, please let me know.